Is the hobby dying? My YouTube stats from November say otherwise. Let's dig in. Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. I keep hearing that the hobby is dying. There are people leaving the hobby everywhere. People are saying, don't sell off all your cards, don't panic. And I do see a lot of collections for sale on Facebook Marketplace and various other places. But I think that what we're seeing is maybe a shift from the investing mindset to the collection mindset. It's just a theory. I have no real evidence behind that part of this video, but I've got to think that a lot of the people who got into this for investment reasons, or at least some of them, started thinking that it's really fun, and where there's not a whole lot of money left in it to profit, or there's not as much. I mean, there's always going to be plenty, but it's not as easy to just turn a profit as it was in 2021. Are these people saying, I want to collect. I want to be a collector and not a full-time or even a part-time dealer. There are also still a lot of people who are getting back into the hobby after decades away. I still get comments every week from people saying, and I get emails too, I've just started collecting again after being away for a long time. What are some good resources? I just discovered your channel. After just getting back into the hobby, I get these quite frequently. And I had been seeing a decline in my YouTube views since April, pretty steadily, if you're excluding the national month of July. Yeah. If we exclude July, my YouTube views had declined since April on a monthly basis and flattened out largely. I was getting, back in the first third of the year, January through April, I was getting 80 to 100,000, 105,000 views in a month. And the last 5 or 6 months, I was only getting like 45 to 55,000, roughly. Oh, I say only. I mean, that's a lot. If I look back 2 years ago, or even 15 months ago, I would have been amazed with that kind of view count. But and I've been very pleased with that. It's still, and I'll talk at the year end. I'm going to bring up graphs and things like that. The last week of December, I'll do like a end of year coverage of what went well, what didn't go well, what happened with my channel in 2023, and where I see my channel going in 2024. And I'll have all kinds of stats and graphs and things like that, because that's my jam. That's what I do in my real job. Today, I'm going to go into some numbers. I'm not going to show any graphs or anything like that. I'm just going to talk through them a little bit. But in November, I mysteriously saw a pretty significant increase in just about every stat on my channel. And I've thought a lot about this. What did I do? Did I do better thumbnails? No, I don't think so. Did I choose better topics? Maybe, but how do you quantify that? I really don't know. But it's interesting. And so when I think about, did the hobby die? Or is it dying? I think the answer is a clear and resounding no. All of you guys who watch this, are proof of that. You still love the hobby. You still want to consume content on the hobby. So I'm going to talk through my impressions of November versus October and preceding months, and then also look back to November and October of last year to see how does this compare. By the way, no Attic Find Friday today or this week. I just didn't have time. Which is fine. I'm frankly running low on Attic Find Friday, and we'll talk a lot about that at the end of December as well, and what I see my channel doing more of next year instead of Attic Find Fridays. All right, so for November, my views hit 80,000 versus 48,000 in October. That's pretty significant increase. That's like a 67% increase from month over month. And that's even with missing the last 3 days of November. Didn't put out a single video. And in the past, like a year ago, I would have felt pressured. I would have put pressure on myself to hammer that 80,000 up. And I could have, if I had done 2 or 3 more videos, I could have gotten to 90,000 views. But I felt a lot more relaxed about it. I've eased up the pressure on myself. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy. And so I just didn't put out a video. And it felt good. And I still love this, don't get me wrong. But it's a lack of sponsors. And I've really enjoyed that. And I canceled my sponsorships back in August, anticipating getting back into sponsors. I'm going to get into this a lot at the end of December. But I've decided not to. And stay tuned at the end of December for more on that and my feelings on sponsors for me. This is not anything about other channels and their sponsors at all. Anyway, so I missed the last 3 days of October. So did I put out more videos in November over October? No, I put out fewer. I put out 17 videos in November, 20 in October. So my average views per video per new video, I should say, because obviously I'm still getting views on old videos, but views per new video was 4,700 in November, only 2,400 in October. So about double what I was doing in October, views per video. My revenue per 1,000 views, which is and I'm just talking YouTube revenue because that's all I collect. My revenue per 1,000 views was up. It was at $10 per 1,000 views in November versus $8.50 in October. That was my best month at $10 per 1,000 views since September of 2022. 14 months. So how am I making more money per video? I don't know. I really don't know. My videos are a little bit longer, but they have been a little bit longer for months now. Instead of doing an average of 8-minute videos, I'm doing an average of 9-minute videos, something like that, 10-minute videos. But I'm also retaining my audience longer. So I've done something there. I used to average like 50% retention, and now I'm averaging closer to 60% retention. So if my average video is 10 minutes, in the past I would have retained the average viewer for 5, and now I'm averaging 6 minutes. And so I guess there's more revenue from that. And if you're interested in how much revenue my channel brought in from YouTube ad sharing revenue, in November, it was $800, which is my most ever, which tops my month of April when I got 105,000 views, which is obviously a lot more views than I got in November. So yeah, $800 straight into my card budget. I had like $1,200 in my card budget from cards, from sales and YouTube revenue and things like that. And I actually bought a new snowblower with it. So a little less for my cards, but I really needed a new snowblower, and yeah, gotta pay the family back too. So was this seasonal? Could it just be that we get a lot more views in November than we do in October because people are inside more, people are thinking about cards? I don't know. Perhaps not. I had, as I said, about 66% view growth October to November. October to November of last year saw a negative 33% growth, so a decline of 33% of my views from October to November. And I did, in November of last year, even though my views declined by 33%, I did about 30% more videos in November. I did 21 in November of last year and 16 in October. November is when I started up my streak. If you remember, if you were around, I did a 56-day video streak, which was a lot of fun. It was too much, but it was a lot of fun. And that's what really kickstarted the growth of my channel at that time, and what ended up getting me to where I am now, or starting me on that path. So November was my most views since April, if we're excluding the national month, because in the national month I got 88,000 views, I think. I got 80,000 in November, but I didn't have any one big event in November that got me to the 80,000, whereas in the national in July, I had 2 days where I got 20 some odd thousand views, 22 or 23,000 just in 2 days. And really it was like a 5-day event where I got some 40,000 views in 5 days. So if we exclude that because of that one big event, this was my biggest view month since April, when I got that 105,000 views. And that 105,000 views was a mixture of Attic Fine Fridays, which went crazy. Dan's room, I think, was in April. And also a lot of older videos that people just started discovering. A lot of people were discovering my channel and going back and watching a lot of videos. At the time, I was getting a lot of comments saying, I just discovered your channel and I've been binge watching your videos, which was awesome, but I don't really get that anymore. I also added 427 net new subscribers. So obviously I have people who are unsubscribing every day, but I have way more people who are subscribing, and I hope to keep that going. I'm not for everybody. Nobody is. I'm sure the most popular channels, people are unsubscribing from them every day. So I added 427 net new people who are subscribed to my channel today, which was the most, again, since April, if we're excluding that July national month when I added 580 or something like that. So is the hobby dying? I don't think so. If you have a YouTube channel, how did it do in November? I'd be really curious. Put it in comments or email me, and maybe I'll just gather like a video that talks through what this looks like. How are you feeling about the hobby? Are you getting more interested, less interested, or equally interested? I'd be curious to know. Let me know in the comments. Thanks very much for watching.